We want to solve this quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. Before we do anything, we have to check to make sure we have all the terms on one side. So you can see we have the quadratic term, the linear term, and the constant term on one side. So we have that right now, set equal to 0. If we didn't have that, we would have had to move things around to make sure we had everything on one side. So here's the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So to start this, we have to just match the letters that come from the quadratic term, linear term, and constant term and plug them in their proper location. So I've color-coded these here. A is going to be the coefficient of the quadratic term. So this is A. This is the quadratic term because we have x squared. Now it's just 2, not the x. You should never have any variables down here because it's the coefficients of these terms. So 2 is the coefficient of the quadratic term, so 2. So anywhere I see a blue A in this formula, I'm going to fill in. So I'm going to put a 2 here and a 2 here. Now B is going to be the coefficient of the linear term. So B here is 8. This is the linear term because it's x to the first power. And again, it's just the coefficient, so 8. And anywhere you see a green B, we're going to put the 8 in. So we're going to put an 8 in here and an 8 in here. Now, on the outside here, the negative b actually just means what's the opposite of b? What's the opposite sign of positive 8? Negative 8. So we don't really need the parentheses in the future, and I don't suggest you use them. Just recognize that negative b means the opposite sign of what b is, and just write it here. It'll save mistakes by not putting the parentheses. And the last is c. C is the constant term. You see there's no variable here to even get confused with to plug down here because it's a constant term, so there's no variable to affect it. That's why it stays constant. This will be the y-intercept when we graph these quadratics. So that's going to be 6. And anywhere there's a c, there's only one place here. So put the 6 in. And now we get to clean all this up. So like I said, x equals the opposite of b, so negative 8. Plus or minus. The inside of the square root breaks down to 16. Remember, that's called the discriminant under there. This is 4. And I get negative 8. That's a perfect square. The discriminant's a perfect square here, so I get plus or minus 4. There's no more square root left. That means I'm going to have a rational answer. So I can get 2 nice clean answers here because the discriminant was a perfect square. So we're going to split this up over here. So you have x equals negative 8 plus 4 over 4. That's the positive root. And x equals negative 8 minus 4 over 4. Add these together. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Divided by 4 is negative 1. And negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. Divided by 4 is negative 3. So our two answers are negative 1 and negative 3. And in the future, I'll say my two roots are negative 1 and negative 3. And I also may be able to say the two zeros are negative 1 and negative 3. So think about that. Zeros. You're hearing that for the first time? Probably not, but remember it because we're about to enter zero quest in a little while. That's a little look at using the quadratic formula.